world champion, Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are we doing today?
We
you guys all rested up?
Yeah, actually, one of our usuals couldn't make it. We think he has World Championship Parade flu, so he could not make it today. I just wanted to say on behalf of him, me, Mike, we all grew up in the Metroplex, and I know this isn't a question. I just wanted to tell you, all the guys, all the staff, everybody, thank you very much. We have been waiting for this for so very long.
Well, I appreciate that. All the guys do. You know, going through that parade, you get a better understanding of how many people are impacted by our game, which is awesome. You know, the support that we had, and it just grew, and we could. And I said it at the parade, we could feel them. We heard them in all the cities we were playing in, and it's why we played the game. So that means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. It means a lot to these players. I think the ones that had not been in this situation, I'm talking about in the World Series or even in a parade, they even have a better understanding of why we played this game. And it just does a great job of bringing the community together. So it's a special time. And, yeah, that last out is big, but to me, you know, comments like you just made or the parade, that's when you realize, you know, what you've done. And it's emotional at times. I guarantee you there were guys that were tearing up when they were going through that parade. That's how emotional you can get during this time.
Well, Boch, I know that you had your grandkids with you on the float, and you had a great comment about she wants to do it again, and you said yes. You know, I'm wondering, is this the first time your obviously last championship was in 2014, and I'm sorry I don't know all the ages of your grandchildren. Was that the first time you got to be in the championship parade with grandkids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're pretty young. The oldest was Braxton, and he's 5, and Maddie, who made the comment after the parade, she had such a good time. She was dressed up in her Rangers dress, and she's all into the cartoons, the TV shows with all the beauty queens and everything. So she just had a blast waving. And when it was over, she goes, "Papa, I want to do that again. I want to go around again." And so, you know, it just hit home for me. And but yeah, that's the first time for me to have grandkids.
Well, the Ranger fans wouldn't have been upset if you would have taken a second lap with almost 750,000 Ranger fans there in attendance. Now, I do have this question for you, Boch, just to make sure, because he said, let's do this again. I'm just making sure you're ready to manage the team in 2024, right?
Well, yeah. No, I am. You know, I got asked that question, and you know, see why he changes his mind. I get it, but no, seriously, no, I feel, you know, I feel awesome. I mean, you just can't help to, you know, be in such a great place when something like this happens. So, no, all good with me. I'm heading out here soon, but no, I plan on taking some time off, but I need to, you know, take care of a couple of things. I'm going to get in even better shape and just get ready to have a great spring and season next year.
I think it's the same philosophy that you have. If somebody hits a grand slam, they get to play again the next day. I feel confident if you win a world title, you're very much welcome back. So thank you for telling us that.
No, thank you. Thank you. You know, it's really, you know, I think most of the guys are probably heading out now, but I can tell you they're recouping right now. You go through something like that, you're running on adrenaline, especially all the games that we played on the road. A few of them have probably slipped into coma last day or so, just catching up and catching their breath. And you know, I'm hoping they get away for a little bit because it's a short off season, and that's Marcus and I were talking about it. Especially somebody that just broke the record for number of at-bats in the season. That's incredible to me. But anyway, it's going to be important that these guys take their time, heal up, and then it's time to get ready for another run at it.
Now, you guys had even more to celebrate last night. Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, and Adolis Garcia all picked up Gold Gloves. Now, for Nathaniel Lowe, what a turnaround defensively that has been. And Adolis Garcia, I feel like a lot of us have thought maybe he should have already had one of these.
Right. I can't say enough about the work that Nate put in to accomplish this. And I'll say this, when I found out, when he told me, it was probably as big to him as winning that Silver Slugger, because he was not known as a defender. He had that tag on him, and I think Marcus led the way on getting him out there every day working on it. And I don't know how many times he came out the ballpark, but we do our infield stuff, and then Beasley would hit him fungos to work on his his picking, and for him to win a Gold Glove, it meant so much to him. So happy for him. Dolly, early in the season, going from center to right, made a couple errors. You're hoping that didn't take away from how good he is out there. And then, as the season went, we all got to see it. We saw it in the postseason, the throw he made home. Hey, this guy he's incredible. He just showed the world that he's a megastar, superstar. This guy, there's nothing he can't do on the ball field.
Well, I feel like
Jonah, I did text Jonah real quick last night. So, really happy for him. And of course, Bobby Wilson, those two are attached at the hip. And, Jonah, I mean, you look at how can you have a better year than what Jonah had? He started out starting, get the Gold Glove, and was the catcher and a World Series champion. It's just incredible what he accomplished this year.
I feel like I'm about to turn into Chris Farley in the old Saturday Night Live video where I just ask you the question, wasn't that awesome? But I will put some context behind this. Is we didn't get to talk to you after the two major injuries to Max Scherzer, which ended up, didn't have to make any Game 7 decisions, and then what happened to Adolis Garcia. And when Max Scherzer back tightens up on him, you decide to go to John Gray. He was phenomenal, pretty much had 3 perfect innings there. You have a decision in Game 4 on who to start. We were having discussions on Dunning versus Heaney and how to do it and how those guys are going to mix and match, or if Bradford might be in the mix there, and it works out great. Heaney goes 5 innings, 1 run, outstanding. Then we're going, well, Jankowski or Grossman, which one should Bochy go with? And you go with Jankowski. He has 2 huge hits in the second and third inning of those 5 runs. So that was awesome. And when you have to make a tough decision, how come it always goes your way and it's just so awesome?
Well, I don't know if it always goes my way. You guys saw what a bumpy ride it was this year at times, especially in that bullpen. So trust me, I don't always get it right. But, I lean on guys too. Mike Maddox and I are constantly talking every day. I pick the brains of our hitting guys. I try to get all the information I can. Of course, front office, Bobby Bandolo, I got to tell you what a great job he does. He's one of our analysts, and we kind of go through the plan, kind of map it out. First inning through the 9th inning. Don't always get to follow it, whatever, but just have a plan. But he does a tremendous job of giving us the information we need on the pitching side. So, we all did this together, and that's what makes it so cool. And I'll say this real quick. I know I get long here, but those guys, they were so selfless. You saw I was moving guys in the batting order, looking at the team we were playing. They had more left-handers in the bullpen. I was trying to make it tougher for them to bring them in on certain pockets. I was hitting Josh Young 8th. I dropped Low down to 7th. Then Josh went back in the 5-hole. The kid Carter, he goes 9 to 5 to 3. Anyway, you cut this short. Nobody said a word. Nobody. They didn't care who did it, how we did it. They just cared that we did it.
One of the constants during that entire thing, and I know you got asked about this, and you're like, no, Marcus Semien is our leadoff hitter. You've made a couple allusions to him having more at-bats in a season than any player in the history of Major League Baseball, which is wild. I know this might not be a short answer, but what does Marcus Semien mean to this Texas Rangers ball club?
Stability, I'll start there. He's the anchor. He's out there every day. It's just one spot I don't think about. But I will say I'd like to think about it more next year. I'll sit down and talk with him. incredible what he accomplished last year, playing every game, breaking the record in at bats. But I need to take care of him, and hopefully I can, work him a little bit. I'll find him at a good time. Get him where he's got a little more give, to give somebody else a chance to get 3 or 4 bats. And that's how I'll probably approach it because, he's set in his way. He wants to be out there. And we're fortunate. He's built. He's wired to play every day. And, but more importantly, he's wired to get it up every day mentally and do what he needs to do out there. And that's what's so impressive about him.
Bochy, one of the things that I was thinking about as you guys were on stage and the confetti happened and then you guys were dispersing is just being a former player, my dad being a former player, I just thought, man, this was awesome. But there's this part in my heart that gets sad. And I know you're bringing back a lot of the players. You're probably going to bring back a lot of the staff. But that's it for this team. It's the celebration of a championship, and you'll always be remembered. But then there's that part where I just think of some of my best friends on certain teams that I just don't get to see much at all or talk to anymore. So can you talk about being in the sport for decades upon decades, and sometimes it ends in a championship, other times it doesn't, but that whenever it ends, whether it's in championship or not, that's kind of that team then is not the team anymore.
Right, and it's part of our business. It's baseball, and I mentioned it a while back. That you know what, we're a special group, and we got a chance to do something special here, and that's together because you don't know what's going to happen next year. You're all not going to be there. It doesn't happen in our game, whether it's on your bench or even regulars. On the pitching side, of course, the free agency and all that. So, yeah, you're right. It is. And so, and that's why I said at the end, I'm going to look back at this moment, a few years from now. And I said this, I'm going to cherish the fact that, I was part of this group because it is a special group. And it won't be the same group next year, but you have to savor that. And down the road, we'll all get together, hopefully, at some point, which you have reunions and things like that. And of course, with the phones now, social media and all that, these guys are able to keep in touch no matter where they go.
What former teammate that you played with when you were a player do you still talk to the most or text the most with?
I tell you what, I have quite a few. I do. I go back to my early days, with Wally Joyner, for example. I see him a lot. We text a lot. Bumgarner was texting during the postseason. Tim Lincecum, he sent me a beautiful text. So, I don't want to leave anybody out. Somebody happens to be listening because there's quite a few that I still keep in touch with, I run into. And the cool thing about getting back in, unretiring, so to speak, a lot of these parks we went to, some of them would come out, and I'd get to catch up. And not just on the major league side, when I managed in the minor league side, and I'd still keep in touch with some of them. Well, one, Rick Davis, was a pitcher for me in rookie ball, and he came out to see me, and we still text. So I have one that lives here, Mike Humphreys, that played for me. So it's just special to run into these guys because I do care about them. I hope they know that. They mean a lot to me.
First sporting event I ever went to, my mom made sure to remind me. I was 11 months old, and I went to the old Arlington Stadium to watch the Rangers. This has been a long time coming for so many of us. So thank you for doing the show with us all year long, and obviously thank you for an unforgettable run.
Well, thank you guys. Enjoyed doing the show, and it's the season we'll never forget. So I'm glad to be part of it and be with all of us, including you guys. What a year! And I'll drive back home probably either later today or tomorrow and start catching up. And after a week or so, we're looking at the winter meetings here, so it's time to get back to work. But you got to enjoy this. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. We'll see you in March.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good winter.